Okay, the puck drop on the 2022-23 NHL season is right around the corner. Joining me today from Betside at my buddy Iain MacMillan, and I will be breaking down our favorite futures bets for the season. So before we get into those futures bets, let's take a look at the top of the Stanley Cup Futures odds board. No big shock, the defending champion Colorado Avalanche come in as a favorite, plus 450. They are followed by Carolina, Toronto, Florida, Tampa Bay, Edmonton, Calgary, Minnesota, New York, and my Pittsburgh Penguins round out the top 10. Okay, Iain, so let's get right down to business here. We're not going to be like these other shows where we're talking about our favorite sleepers to win the Lady Byng Trophy. Who's your pick to win the Stanley Cup, and who will they be beating in the Stanley Cup?
Well, I'm happy to announce, Joe, that this is finally the year that my beloved Toronto Maple Leafs finally win the Cup. The curse is over.
Hey, hold on 1 second. You know that we're recording this video to go on YouTube. Like, this is for public consumption. You know this, right?
Yeah, I've died on the hill of the Toronto Maple Leafs before. I'm ready to do it again. I think this is finally their season. They kept their entire core from last year, and they added a goaltender with Stanley Cup winning experience in Matt Murray.
He's shot.
He had a little bit of an off year last year, but I'm not too concerned about that. He had to play for the Ottawa Senators. Now he gets to play with some of the best skaters on planet Earth. This is a Toronto Maple Leafs team that finished 5th in Corsi percentage, my favorite stat. I know it's your favorite stat too, Joe. 2nd in high danger scoring chances, 2nd in expected goals per 60 minutes. I could list the stats and go on and on. This is finally their year. They just need to get over that first round. They get past the first round, the monkey will be off their back. They'll go on a run, and they're going to win the Stanley Cup, and they're going to beat the Calgary Flames. I think it's going to be an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final this year. I thought the Flames were going to go a little bit deeper in the playoffs last year than what they did, but they have a very good defensive team specifically. I know they lost a couple of guys, Johnny Gaudreau and Matt Tkachuk, but they did add Jonathan Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri, who's going to give them some nice forward depth, especially on the second line there, and defenseman Mackenzie Weegar as well. So I am high on this Flames team. Jacob Markstrom is one of the better goaltenders in the NHL. I think they win the West. I think the Maple Leafs win the East, and then the curse will finally be broken when the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup this season.
All right, well, I'm already embarrassed to be associated with this video, and before I get into my pick, let me tell you, I have 4 standards, Iain, for how I am raising my sons. Number 1, do not disrespect your mother or grandmother. Number 2, be a gentleman. Number 3, treat people how you want to be treated. And number 4, under no circumstances whatsoever can you become a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. These people are losers who cheer for a loser. Okay, on to my pick to win the Stanley Cup here this season. Hey, Iain and I are kind of aligned on one side. I'm taking the Calgary Flames to win the whole damn thing here, coming in 16-1 odds. And this was the most complete team in all of hockey last season. They led the NHL in expected goals for percentage. They were 2nd in goal differential. And I'll echo a few things that Iain said. They lost Johnny Gaudreau, who signed up to be irrelevant for the rest of his career in Columbus. Hey, we'll see you at the All-Star break every year, Johnny. But they did make some good additions to kind of fill his void. And also, people might point to the disappointing playoff run that they had last season. But a few other teams have had disappointing playoff runs and have gone on to win the Cup very recently, including the Colorado Avalanche. A couple years before that, it was the Washington Capitals who couldn't get over the hump. So I think that they could fit a similar blueprint to those teams. And of course, Jacob Markstrom in net. I think he is the best goalie in the Western Conference. And I think they're going to defeat the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup final. I don't like Boston, 13-1 to win the East, but hey, this is the best defensive team in the NHL, and the analytics back it up. They led the league in both expected goals allowed and high danger chances allowed, and most of that team remains intact. I think a great season to build off for young goalie Jeremy Swayman. He has the potential to be elevated to one of the best goalies in the NHL. Finished last year with at 5th in goals against average. Kind of a shock there. Bruce Cassidy gets sent packing as head coach. A surprise to many, but maybe addition by subtraction, some new energy that the new head coach will bring in. So yeah, I got Flames over Bruins in this Stanley Cup final. Okay, Iain, let's get into some of our favorite over-under season-long point total picks. What's your first bet?
Yeah, I'll go with an over here, a team that I'm very high on this year. That is the Los Angeles Kings. I got their over at 95.5 points here. This is a team that I bet on a lot last season. To be fair, I probably lost some money on them. And the reason why I like them so much is because they're a very good Corsi team. I'm sorry, I'm a slave to the Corsi stat. They were 4th in the entire NHL last year in Corsi percentage. Now, their issue was that they couldn't put the puck in the back of the net, dead last in the league in shooting percentage. I'm hoping that their offseason signing of Kevin Fiala from the Minnesota Wild will be able to help out their goal scoring issues a little bit. He had a career high in goals last year with 33. But if they can just fix their shooting and just get a little bit more accurate, they already do all the hard things right. They just need to start doing the easy things right. So I like the Los Angeles Kings. They got 99 points last season. I don't see any reason why they can't repeat that success, especially if they get a little bit better scoring. And they will benefit from being in the weakest division in the NHL as well in the Pacific. So I like the Los Angeles Kings over 95.5 points is my favorite over point total for this year.
Yeah, I like the Kings too. I'd have them as more of a serious contender to actually win the Cup had they improved their goaltending situation, but that was not really the case. So my favorite season-long team point total futures bet is for the St. Louis Blues to go under 95.5 points. Listen, the Blues were the luckiest team in all of the NHL last season. They got to 109 points. However, check out some of these stats. So goals for percentage, they finished 5th overall. But dig into the analytics here. Expected goals for percentage, way down there at 19th. High danger chances for percentage, way down there at 24th. So analytically, one of the worst teams in hockey. And they're not going to have the same depth in net that they had last season. They had a fantastic 1-2 punch last season with Husso and Binnington. Splitting time in net. Now Husso, who's the better of the two guys, he's now a Detroit Red Wing. So they're not going to have the benefit of having two good goalies in net. So I like the Blues to tumble in the standings a little bit. Iain, what's your next point total bet?
Yeah, going with an under here. This is a team I faded quite a bit last year. I'll be fading them again this year. That is the Vegas Golden Knights. Going to get their under point total this year, 97.5. When this team entered the league as an expansion team a few years ago, it was very clear that their strategy in the expansion draft was to win now. Well, now has come and gone, and now we're seeing some fractures in this lineup, and we saw it last year. Statistically, not a very good team, especially defensively, and they didn't really do a lot to improve that in the offseason. They also sold a lot of pieces to get Jack Eichel last season, and that didn't really pan out in the second half of the season. So they have some guys, but they need those guys to step up in a big way, and I don't think they will. And like I said, bad defensively last year, 25th in high danger scoring chances allowed. You can't do that and win in the NHL. So I think the Golden Knights, they have their opportunity. They couldn't win a cup. I think they're going to continue to regress in the next couple of years. So Vegas Golden Knights under 97.5 points. That seems like an insanely high total for this team.
Vegas, baby. Okay, my next pick. Nothing really too sexy about this team, but they're one of the best teams in the league. I'm going to take the Hurricanes to go over 102.5 points. So look at what they did last season. I don't know why this number is so low. They finished with 116 points last season. They were 4th in goal differential, one of the most complete teams in hockey, and the analytics absolutely back it up. 4th in expected goals for percentage and high danger chances for percentage. And the thing that I like most about this team, they're super deep everywhere, especially in net. Great 1-2 punch between the pipes, Anderson and Ranta. So not really, there's no big drop off at all when the backup is in net. Most teams can't say that. I'm looking at you, New York Rangers. So, yeah, I like the Hurricanes to pick up where they left off last season and to get to at least 103 points. Okay, Iain, bonus pick. What are we looking at in the players' futures market?
Well, as a goaltender myself, I got to look at the Vezina market here. And it wouldn't be a show with me on it without me mispronouncing a name. Is it Husi Saros? Is it Huseros? Is it Juice Saros? I don't know, but the Nashville Predators goaltender.
Thanks for coming prepared. By the way, Iain, all you do is you go on YouTube and you type that guy's name in and you hear his highlights, and then you learn how to pronounce the guy's name.
Joe, it's become part of my brand to mispronounce athletes' names. So if I took 5 minutes to 2 minutes to look up these names, and come on, I wouldn't be sticking true to myself. So I'll take Saros to win the Vezina Trophy. The thing that I like about him more than the top guys, Shesterkin and Sorokin, is that he has a defense that plays in front of him. Pretty solid defense. If you look at his save percentage against high danger scoring chances last year, an .842 save percentage against them. But the Predators only allowed 7.81 high danger scoring chances against them per game. Now, Shesterkin and Sorokin, the two favorites to win Vezina, had a higher save percentage against those high danger scoring chances, but their teams don't play very well defensively and allow around 9 high danger scoring chances per 60 minutes against them. I think it's going to be very difficult for Shesterkin and Sorokin to mimic their save percentage against those high danger opportunities for another full season. I think Saros takes another step forward. He has the better team in front of him, at least defensively. So I like him here. 10-1, I think he's the best bet to win the Vezina Trophy.
Okay, I'll differ from you a little bit there, and I'll continue with our theme of Calgary Flames love. I'm going to take Jacob Markstrom to win the Vezina, coming in at 15-1. So this guy just keeps getting better. His goals against average has improved in 3 straight seasons, 222 last season. Not a big drop off when he goes on the road either. He's also seeing a lot more time in that. Played in 63 games. That's up from 20 games the year before. And the real standout stat for Markstrom, he had 9 shutouts last season. That led the NHL. I think he's going to have an excellent opportunity to replicate that success. And it has a lot to do with how good he is, obviously, and the defense that plays in front of him. Calgary last season, second in high danger chances allowed. So I see Markstrom picking up where he left off last regular season. He stunk in the playoffs, but 15-1, good price there. And also a long shot, Jeremy Swayman, 50-1. Ooh. Keep an eye on him this season. Worth a little sprinkle, as they say here, Iain. So, yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs, very much like the New York Yankees, they'll have a great regular season and then flop the second the playoffs get here, right?
Don't you compare them to the New York Yankees of all teams. Come on, man. Give them a little bit more respect than that. Gross.
All right. So there you have it. That is it for our look at our favorite futures bets for the upcoming NHL season. We thank Iain very much for joining us, and we wish you all good luck with your NHL futures bets. Make sure you keep it locked on VegasInsider.com for all your NHL betting needs.